Shalom. This week's Sedra is Sedrat Behaloscha. This week's Sedra closes with a disturbing episode. Moshe, Aharon, and Miriam were three siblings who led the Jewish people. Their father, Amram, was the leader of the Jewish people during the Jewish slavery in Egypt. When their father passed away, Aharon became the leader of the Jewish people, until Moshe, who had run away from Egypt under the threat of execution from Paro, returned from Midian and took over the leadership of the people. As we know, when the Jews left Mitzrayim, Miriam took the lead over the women, and Aharon transitioned into becoming the Kohen Gadol. All three were prophets, but Moshe experienced a higher level of prophecy. As the Sedra comes to a close, we read, Miriam and Aharon spoke against Moshe regarding the Cushite woman he had married, for he had married a Cushite woman. Moshe had separated from his wife due to his prophecy, while the other siblings had not. And they said to each other, has God spoken only to Moshe? Hasn't he spoken to us too? God heard what they said. Now Moshe was exceedingly humble, more so than any other person on the face of the earth. So God suddenly said to Moshe, Aharon, and Miriam, go out, all three of you, to the Mishkan. And all three went out. Miriam would be punished for what she said about Moshe. In his commentary on this episode, the Ramban focused on a specific word that God used to describe his addressing Moshe, Aharon, and Miriam. I don't know if you caught it, but God said that he came to them suddenly. The Ramban wrote that Hashem only came to Miriam and Aharon suddenly and unexpectedly. Moshe, in contrast, was always ready for prophecy. The Ramban's explanation requires further explanation. What does it mean that he came to them suddenly? In his explanation of prophecy, the Rambam wrote, prophecy is one of the foundations of our faith. God conveys prophecy to man. A prophet's mind should be constantly directed upward, bound beneath God's throne, striving to comprehend the secret and pure forms, and gazing at the wisdom of God in its entirety and its manifold manifestations, from the most elevated form into the navel of the earth, appreciating his greatness from them. After these preparations, the divine spirit will immediately rest upon him. Prophecy required great preparation on the part of the prophet and didn't just randomly occur. When prophets experience prophecy, their limbs tremble, their physical powers become weak, they lose control of their senses, and thus their minds are free to comprehend what they see. Not only did prophecy not randomly occur, but the experience of prophecy itself was traumatic. The Rambam asked, what's the difference between Moshe's prophecy and that of the other prophets? Prophecy comes to other prophets in a dream or a vision. Moshe, our teacher, would prophesy while standing awake. God spoke to Moshe as a man speaks to a friend. Just as a person will not be awestruck from hearing his friend's words, so too Moshe's mental power was sufficient to comprehend the word of prophecy while he was standing in a composed state. All the other prophets couldn't prophesy when they desired. Moshe, our teacher, was different. Whenever he desired, he experienced prophecy. In our tragic episode, prophecy came suddenly to Miriam and Aharon to teach them a lesson. They doubted the unique prophecy of Moshe. To teach them the greatness of Moshe's prophecy, Hashem came to them suddenly, without their normal preparations. This 3,000-year-old lesson for us is that unless you're a Moshe Rabbeinu, approaching God, and for us, maybe not in prophecy, but especially in prayer, requires great preparation, and shouldn't be done just suddenly. I hope that your tefillos improve with this message, and that you take the time to prepare for your tefillos before you approach God and pray. Shabbat Shalom.